Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's 1 million by 1 million strategy roundtable for entrepreneurs. This is a public roundtable. We've been doing this for a very long time, 710th session. We started back in the fall of 2008 with an experiment, then launched 2010. We launched 1Mby1M as a full-fledged acceleration program. And here we are. We've had over 300,000 participants. It's been a very long-standing mentoring program in the startup world. And we have also introduced our AI mentors from Anamitra's Digital Mind as something that supplements our other programs, Premium and Basic. And you're very welcome to start playing with that. That's available 24/7. We have a couple of pitches today, just setting some expectations for those who are pitching today, as well as those who are pitching at upcoming sessions. This is a safe working session. There is no other agenda here other than helping you move forward and make progress with your ventures. We are not trying to do Shark Tank and entertain millions of viewers. This is a working session. If you disagree with what you hear from me today, that is your, what you do with that feedback and, what you do with that disagreement is up to you. It's really your venture, your prerogative to agree, disagree, to move forward in whatever way you want. I will give you candid feedback. We're going to start with Tejas from Chennai. Farmience is the company. Tejas, please. Oh, the slides are not moving for you. All right, Tejas, please unmute your line and let's start with your presentation, Farmience.
Yeah, I am Tejas. I'm from Farmience. Can you go to the next slide? Yeah. So here our mission is to change how cities consume, and primary focus of our research has been into India. You can move to the next slide. So yeah, so the core problem we are focusing on is like the vegetables we get in cities is usually like it's not very tasty and nutrition value is low, and even people don't trust what they say is organic. They buy from the local supplier, but they still don't trust if it's, even if they say it, they don't have any view or proof that okay, this is organic. So what we were, and also this all is caused because food comes around minimum 150 to 200 kilometers far away. If you take in tier one cities, and even to some extent the tier two cities also. So what happens is these farmers harvest it like a few days earlier, 3 to 4 days earlier, so that they can add on shelf lives, and then it's stored in cold storages by, and also these middlemen do create artificial scarcities to hike up prices so that they can sell it at higher margins. So what we were thinking is like if we can grow these in cities itself, there won't be these problems. Even the UN has a focus on this particular goal that food should be grown within cities so that we can sustain the population boom as it grows. So, but in cities, the problem is like a lot of people don't have the time and knowledge, or even don't want to commit to such activities where they're busy with their other work, like the IT sector and other kinds of work. So where we were thought we can do with hydroponics because cities don't have a lot of space, open space. So hydroponics increases the yield by around 4 to 5%, 4 to 5 times higher yield when you compare it to soil. But with hydroponics also, there's a lot of problem with like you need a lot of skilled labor. So that's where we are automating everything, and also we are using building an RL model where all the tasks are automated, like how much nutrition is needed to this particular plant, and over time as the data grows, it will optimize it. You can go to the next slide. Actually. Not this next one. Yeah. So that's when we came to the conclusion that if we keep growing and selling separately, it won't run very efficiently because there's a lot of wastage which is created because of the data lack between that gap. On the next slide, please. Yeah, so these are our three building blocks where Farmience Hub is a hydroponic unit which we are planning to install on different terraces in a city, like say schools, colleges, apartments, or even individual houses. Then Farmience OS is what is the system that takes care of everything. Like we are planning it in a distributed manner. So every around say a radius of 5 kilometers as one hub, so that it can supply only that area. Farmience OS is our has our automation system, our AI models, everything. So all the so it can optimize the plant and also have a local demand data. How like in this particular area, what is the kind of seasonal calendar which we require so that we can grow the right things and reduce the wastage too, while supplying highly nutritious and fresh vegetables. And Farmians Fresh is our marketplace site where all the selling is handled. Next slide, please. Yeah, so this is how our entire cycle works. Here, once we grow it in a unit called Farmians Hub, that is hyper locally distributed using Farmians Fresh. Now, this Farmians Hub is completely automated with sensors, IoT, and once every sale and also the growth data is all recorded by our model. This data is used to optimize how much we grow and bring in a balance between quality and quantity. Next slide, please. Yeah, so these are three target segments where we are creating value. Mm, so apartment societies, schools, colleges, individual homeowners. These three are the locations we are planning to install our hubs to grow the plants. And for consumers, they get traceable, so a traceable source. So every hub is in close proximity to them. So if they are anywhere doubtful about how the growing conditions is, they can visit it and easily check. And we are also pesticide free and everything. And for us, we get a citywide crop calendar that is hyper locally distributed. RL models improves with yield. So as we get more data, more and more data, the model increases very well. Next slides, please. Yeah. So
Where
this
are
is
your
where we are.
economics? Where are
So
your
right now,
economics?
few more slides. Next one. Yeah, this is our unit economics. Right now, we are still on a pre-revenue stage where we are building a product. So this is just what we have calculated from current market rates.
Have you done any
Now,
validation work?
so we did a survey where we sent like Google Forms and collected what the problems people are facing, and we got and how probable are they if all these kind of things are offered to them. And most of them, their concern was traceability was a major concern for most of them.
So I'll just tell you what I think.
Yeah.
I think you are trying to change human behavior, consumer behavior at a level that is very difficult to achieve. So you're going to need to tighten your segmentation and focus on something that is manageable. So I wouldn't do apartment societies, schools and colleges, individual homeowners, all these different and consumers, etc. I would just focus on apartment societies and go talk to, apartment societies have committees, right? Building committees or building whatever apartment society committees and so forth who make decisions.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
go talk to 50 committees like that to see if people would be willing to work with you in this mode, give you the amount of space that you are looking for, and do a closed loop system within the apartment society whereby you take care of the growing of the produce within a space within the apartment society, and your consumer base is also people who live in that apartment society.
Yeah, that's where we are planning our initial pilot trials with an
Initial or
apartment
not,
so
this
that
is where you're
selling
going
is
to
easy.
get your, this is one that is doable. Schools and colleges is not
Okay.
doable. Schools and colleges are not in the business of growing produce and supplying produce to the community. That's not schools and colleges. That's not what schools and colleges do. And individual homeowners, now you have to do consumer marketing. That is not also not so doable. But apartment societies may be a place where you can do it, and there are plenty of apartment societies all over India and even elsewhere. My recommendation, this is, you can take it or leave it. My recommendation
Yeah,
is to focus on apartment societies and figure out how to do this apartment society by apartment society.
yeah.
And then figure out the unit economics and the business model, like how much, who's going to pay for what, and how are you going to do this. I mean, the financials have to be figured out. The economics have to be figured out. Okay?
Yeah.
Any question?
No, nothing from my side. The only thing is like we are stuck with not getting funds, so we are
I'm
confused of
sorry, I
how to
cannot
run
hear
the
you. You
pilot right
stuck with
now.
what?
Funding. So we are trying to get funds for the pilot
Nobody
trials.
is going to fund this. No
Okay.
one's going to fund this. This is not a fundable, this is not an investor fundable situation right now. You have to bootstrap, which
Mm-hmm.
is why it's really important that you figure out how you can bootstrap with, customer money. Like, how much are you going to charge these apartment complexes to do this work, and what is going to be the business model? Start figuring that out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
have a slide on the business model. It would be good if you can, I can get a review on that.
Where is that? Is that before,
A bit
after?
backwards. Yeah, before the unit economics slide.
Before?
Before this. Yeah, this one.
So tell me, what is the business model? I can't read the slide.
So, here the first one. So if we just take apartment societies. Uh, so usually what we got feedback when we talked to, I think we talked to around 2 or 3 communities. So the feedback is they won't be ready to invest and buy the hub. So our model is like we will set up the hub for them and we'll manage everything and we'll sell it within the community, and then they'll have a share in the profits and we'll take a share. That way we are planning for apartment societies.
They're willing to give you the space to do all this within the apartment society?
Space they are ready unless we invest in the hub and we manage it. So everything management and investment is on us. We'll take a share like around 20 to 30%. They are expecting a share from us.
But have you run the numbers? How are you going to fund all this? What does it cost to get an apartment society up and running?
So around we just take a 500 square feet hub. It is costing us around 2.5 lakhs, including around on the next slide we have that around 2.25 for the capex and around 15K per month for the opex. But if we for an apartment we would require a larger space like around 2,000 square feet or 3,000 square feet to supply minimum thing. If we want to go bigger, we need to run more.
So, but how are you going to finance all that?
That's what we are also looking for, from where to finance those things.
This is kind of like a non-financeable situation. No investor is going to fund this. So unless you can get customers to finance it, this is a no-go. not going to work. As a business, you won't be able to build this business.
Okay. Because the apartments are not ready to invest on the capex at all.
Then this is not a viable business.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
The next presentation is Rhi Gladney.
Hi, how are you?
Hello.
Hi.
Go ahead.
So my name is Rhi Gladney, and I have a company called Fly.
Okay.
So we're kind of similar to both Airbnb and Uber. So how you stay at an Airbnb, you feel like you live in a city. We want you to feel like you can work in a city. So what it is to work somewhere and have an immersive experience there. And then like Uber, we automatically match you to the gig, but instead of driving, it's for sustainability gigs. So we originally were called Raz Develop, and I made the company to make travel accessible for a sustainable airline. I got into an accelerator called Draper University with a sustainable airline, and I kept getting told that sustainable air travel is in the future. So in the meantime, I decided to make a platform to build a customer base for this airline when I can launch it. Next slide. So who is the customer and what is our value proposition? So we want to make it so you can log into an app wherever you are based off of your skill set. You are matched to a business, and the business either gives you kind of a digital nomad gig and you're given automation tools such as AI and no code tools. And you can work wherever you are and do the gig, and maybe you get to meet them there and see the business in person. We really want this to be as immersive as you want it to be. If you really just want it to be an immersive experience and you're directly working with sustainability like really into working with sustainability projects and want it to be like a kind of a cleanup situation instead of more tech oriented, we offer this as well. So we have businesses set sustainability goals for the next 5 years. Then we break those goals down into automation gigs and into immersive experience gigs, which are mostly cleanup gigs. And yes, so segmentation analysis, we're really looking for people who already work in the gig economy, so people who work for like Uber or they do kind of delivery work. We're also looking at people who travel frequently. We're also looking at business owners who really are into hiring freelancers. I'm sorry, I can't even read my slides. I know I think we always put frequent travelers in there, people who love to travel and want to be able to afford to see the world.
So one of the things, the same difficulty you're having with reading the slides is something to learn from. You should never put so much text on slides. Slides are about bullet points and that's all. Slides are not about rambling text. For the same reason that you're having difficulty reading them, nobody can read them. I don't even try.
Fair enough. I put in the market size of each of these segments.
So just a second, can you explain to me what kinds of projects? You said, is it mostly cleanup projects that you want these people to do?
Cleanup projects and also automation projects. So the easiest way to become more sustainable is to automate your operations. So let's say, like this is a really easy example. I used to own a cat cafe, and I worked with an adoption agency. They're technically a cat rescue, and everything they did was through paper. Like all of their adoptions were done with paperwork, and they would have just like closets full of all of these records of cats. And one of the easiest things to do to make their business more sustainable would be to put all of those records into a database that they could easily access. And this is a really simple example, but it's something that they wouldn't be continuing to use the paper in the future. And they also would be able to report.
So these are very different skill sets.
Yes.
The same person or the same profile of worker is not going to do cleanup projects and also digitization. It's not automation. What you're talking about is digitization. Automation has a very different connotation, especially now in the agentic AI age, that's a very different connotation. You're talking about digitization.
Digitization. I'm also talking about automation. Depending on what the company does, I don't know, I just try to use a really easy example, but maybe you need to hire a programmer to make your operations more sustainable just by cutting down how you're using things. I ask businesses like what their electricity bill is. And how we can like cut down their electricity bill and things we can automate throughout their business that they're using less electricity. So systems that they don't necessarily need humans to do that we could make more efficient and more sustainable just
So
to cut down.
Doing too many things never results in a successful business. Doing too many convoluted things results in failures and it results in confusion. So pick something that is easy to automate and has one single profile of worker that is going to do that job. And see if you can bring that to a validation.
Sure.
So let's say, because you're going to have to find that if you're talking about Uber or Airbnb, that's a marketplace. You have to get two sides of the marketplace to come together for a transaction to happen from which you're going to make some money.
Yes.
So you need, let's take the example of cleaning up, right? Who needs cleaning up services? What kind of cleaning up services are we talking about that have sustainability impacts? You're not talking about janitors, right?
I'm talking about people who want to travel to get paid to make the world a better place. And we have AI and low code tools to give them instructions. As for customer validation, I will bring up after this slide, but I'm sorry for interrupting.
It doesn't work. That pitch doesn't work. You know, people, let's say, who is going to hire these people to clean up? What kind of cleaning up are we talking about? Do we get people to fly in to do cleanup jobs? We don't. That's not how the economy works.
That's how the economy, that's the economy I'm building.
But you cannot build something that is not going to be adopted. You know, you cannot change human behavior to a, so let's say there's a beach, a dirty beach that needs to be cleaned up. Who's interested in that cleanup? Maybe the city that owns that is responsible for that beach being clean, correct?
Okay, so I'm just going to talk about this on the next slide. My customer acquisition strategy really quick is social media and SEO. If you can change slides.
Yeah, but let's first figure out who is the customer, then we'll figure out customer acquisition strategy.
My customers, I went to a bunch of sustainability conferences and I interviewed a bunch of businesses who already work in sustainability, what they look for in freelancers. And what they look for in freelancers is all over the map. So I originally offered this to more technical users, and that's why I talk about automation and digitization, because most of these sustainability companies at these conferences want to hire people who are more technically oriented. So it was a bunch of...
That's a different business. Then you should skip all this cleanup stuff and forget about cleaning up and focus on technical services. But then, if you're talking about technical services, you are going to compete with players like Upwork, freelancer.com, and so on and so forth. So how do you compete with them?
I'm automatically matching them. So instead of you competing on the marketplace, you're putting in your skill set and then I assign you to a business. And this is also where the immersive experiences came in. This isn't something that you're doing because you want a job. This is something you're doing because you want to make the world a better place when you travel. You want to get to know the city that you're in. So I know it's kind of convoluted, but it's also you actually get to get paid to see a place and help the place become better. And I did interview business owners and they are willing to pay. And beaches, for example, yes, most of those cleanup situations involve grants, but there's also businesses that are charged large fines because they ruin surrounding areas that they're willing to pay people to clean up those areas. So,
yeah, but they don't fly in people to clean up those areas.
So the freelancer situation, those people are already going there. So you log into an app where you are based off your skill set, and then you're paid where you are to deal with what you're doing. There are people who fly that hire people to fly in and do things with specialists, the special talent that they hire. It's not particularly popular, but it's done. I'm asking people like Uber, you log into an app and you're matched. And I use the AI and the low code tools to train them, because the biggest complaints I had when I was interviewing these businesses, why would I train people who are only going to be with me for a short period of time? If I am not obligated to train them a whole bunch, I'll hire them. So you have all of these tasks that you'd like to do to make your business more sustainable, but you personally aren't really going to prioritize it. So you are willing to hire freelancers, and you're fine with not hiring them full time, because it isn't necessarily what your business does. Your business isn't 100% focused on sustainability. Some of these businesses work, because I went to sustainability conferences, but for the sake of like, I want my business to meet these goals, they're fine with hiring temporary work. And they're not necessarily paying for them to travel to meet them. It's people that are already going there. So like,
Okay.
I want to go to Paris, and I'm logged into an app when I'm in Paris. I need some extra money because I'm in Paris. And now I'm going to work doing this gig to know what it is to work in Paris. I have an immersive experience, so I really get to know Paris in a special way. And I also have these technical tools to become more technically talented and skilled, that I can get paid more on my next gig.
Okay, so there are also issues around visa, work visa and so forth. So only EU nationals can probably, I don't know what the French visa law is, but work visa law is, but there are, people cannot just arrive in the United States and work.
It's
Or
called employer of record. So I learned about this in DC. There's a service, it's a third-party service. All of my workers are contractors. They are not applying for work visas. They are contractors. And there's a third-party service. They already do this for businesses who hire global talent. It's already a thing that's already done. They deal with all of the taxes for them, and they deal with all of the temporary work visa. It's something I charge each user and their gig fee.
Okay, so I still think that your pitch doesn't really work. You called it yourself convoluted. That's exactly what it seems to me.
Well, I use the word convoluted because you use the word convoluted. I feel it's not convoluted. I could be clearer.
You could be a lot clearer. What can you start with? What kind of projects can you start with where you have some businesses that are willing to hire in this mode that you're talking about? What kinds of businesses have you already got willing to work with you?
So since we aren't launched yet, I'm interviewing a bunch of programmers to get on the App Store. I found someone yesterday who's willing to work for equity, and we can be launched within 6 months. Most programmers I'm interviewing, they want a large chunk of change up front. So I need an investment to be able to pay them. As
It's
for
not a
gigs,
fundable business. It's not a fundable situation. You will not be able to raise money for this right now. Not until this thing is significantly validated, if it ever is.
thank you for your opinion. I disagree. What we are doing is I'm working with, so I'm doing workaway gigs, and I'm doing World Packers gigs. So they do immersive experiences in exchange for work for board. So you get a bed, and you do volunteer work. So you have an immersive experience. And I'm learning what travelers do for a bed.
That's not my point. My point is this: currently the state that your business is in is not a fundable state.
I
No
disagree,
investor is
but thank
gonna.
you for your opinion.
Okay, you can disagree. There's no point my trying to coach you.
You can give me your opinion.
I've given you my opinion. I think your willingness to listen is very low, so I'm just going to give you what I already said. I personally do not think this is going to scale, and I do not think it's a fundable business. So that's my opinion.
Thank you for your opinion.
Welcome. All right, folks. I'm going to give you a little bit of information about how to use 1M if you're looking for ongoing help, and then we can take a few more questions before we wrap up. 1M is completely virtual, so you will find everything online. 1M1M.com is the place to go to look for everything, all the resources. And as I said, the AI mentor is available for you 24/7. You can go dialogue with the AI mentor as much as you want, and you can get feedback from there and guidance from there. Our full acceleration program includes fundraising, and that is 1Mby1M Premium. But we will only introduce you to investors when you are ready, when we consider you to be fundable. So getting there is a process. Fundability is a journey. You have to do validation work. You have to figure out what is going to be a repeatable go-to-market strategy. These are the things that investors are looking for. What pricing model works, what business model works. All of these things need to be figured out, and you have to be able to credibly prove that you can go from 0 to $100 million in 5 to 7 years. And that is a complex, difficult challenge. Very few companies go from 0 to $100 million in 5 to 7 years, and that's what VCs are looking for to invest in. So anyway, premium program is the full acceleration program. You get weekly roundtables like this where you can come and discuss your project, and I'll give you feedback. Investor introductions are part of premium. We have a curriculum that is very extensive with lots of case studies. For example, we just started working on a marketplace business, right, with Rhi's business. We have a whole module on marketplaces, and we have lots of case studies on marketplaces, and you can learn how these businesses have built their companies, successful businesses. So that's premium, that's $1,000 a year. You can also access the curriculum only, that's 1Mby1M Basic, $99 a month. And you do that on your own time. That does not include mentoring, and that does not include investor introductions, but you can start with Basic for sure. And if you want to combine Basic and the AI mentor, that is another way to also do things on your own time, on your own schedule. And that does not include live mentoring. So go to the website, look at Premium, Basic, AI Mentor, etc. And we have 2 more roundtables this year, December 11th and December 18th. So if you're looking to pitch, you can sign up for one of those. And then January 8th is going to be the next one after that in the new year. If you have questions about the program after this session, Irina Patterson is your contact, irina@1mby1m.com. She'll be happy to get on the phone with you, on WhatsApp, whatever. I want to tell you about one thing that we are seeing a lot in the industry right now. And this topic is coming up. People are looking for an accelerator that accepts solo entrepreneurs and bootstrap founders. There is a bias in the industry against solo entrepreneurs. 1Mby1M does not share or participate in that bias. We support solo entrepreneurs. We support bootstrapped entrepreneurs. We've always supported solo and bootstrapped entrepreneurs. Right from our very beginning, we have been incredibly supportive of solo and bootstrap founders. And we are in the golden age of bootstrapped entrepreneurship. So we are also in the golden age of solo entrepreneurship. So if you are a solo entrepreneur or if you're a bootstrapped entrepreneur, you're most welcome to come work with 1Mby1M. Our philosophy is bootstrap first, raise money later, or not at all. You can go straight to profitability and so forth. If your business is not fundable, it can still be a successful business. So I just said to Rhi that the business is definitely not fundable now. It may not be fundable long-term either, but that does not mean that the business cannot be a successful, profitable business. It could be a successful, profitable bootstrap business, but you have to make the right decisions and implement the right strategy with which to build that business, how to put one foot before the other with the right sequence and the right, method so that you can get to revenue quickly, you can get to profitability quickly. These are the techniques with which you build successful businesses. And if you can do that. You can bootstrap your way to validation. You can bootstrap your way to what we call repeatability. Repeatability is the key to a high velocity business. If you can bootstrap your way to repeatability, that's when investors get really interested. So in the case study that we just worked on, Rhi Gladney's business, let us say she brings together in different, cities, the governments, municipal governments, and all these municipal governments have cleaning projects. And all these people who are traveling to those cities can make a buck by signing on for those cleaning projects. And this becomes a movement. That is a very nice sustainability message. Clean up the city that you're visiting and contribute to its health and wellness and so forth and cleanliness, and get paid a little bit along the way. That could be a very tight positioning. May not be a $1 billion business, but could be a $1 million, $2 million, $5 million business. And that could actually work. So bootstrap businesses have a different strategic nuance. Our philosophy is bootstrap first, raise money later. Do not go to VCs as beggars, go as kings. The only way you get to go to investors as kings is if you have bootstrapped your way to validation and ideally repeatability. So keep that in mind as you are developing strategy for your business. Tight positioning is what gives you successful bootstrap businesses. So instead of trying to do all kinds of things, and I called it convoluted in the previous case study, instead of trying to communicate to the whole world that we do this, that, and other things and confuse everybody in the process, there is a way to make that business actually be very interesting, where it is a sustainability message, it is a cleaning up the city or cleaning up the destination message for people who come to visit and who want to make a buck. That is, to me, that is a manageable business that can be bootstrapped and that can potentially be built to some degree of success. So that's just an example of, bootstrapping to your own sustainability. Sustainability is important for entrepreneurs as well. And the key to entrepreneurial sustainability is profitability. So you have to get to customers, you have to get to revenues, you have to get to profitability, and that's how you become sustainable, especially when in circumstances where there is no outside funding available. Okay? Any questions, folks? Anybody, any questions? Yes, no? There are other people in the room who have not participated in the panel today. Maybe you're planning to participate next time. If you have questions, by all means, Saurav Tangri, please go ahead. You have a question.
I just have a question. So in terms of, you said you can help with investor introductions.
Yeah.
Investors come with, all shapes and sizes and different theses and where they invest. It's quite a broad stroke there.
Yes.
We
work with investors all over the world, and investor entrepreneur fit, you're absolutely right, is how funding happens. So we're not going to send you to investors who have no interest in your geography, your sector, your stage. These are the three main things that determine investor entrepreneur fit: are geography, sector, space, whatever, the type of business, and stage. Yes. So a pre-seed investor is a very different investor than a Series A investor or a Series B investor. So we pay attention to that.
That makes sense. So I've mostly seen a lot of advisors and mentors focus on non-deep tech companies. Should I be following up with Irina to see what kind of portfolio or early stage companies you have helped in deep tech?
It depends on what deep tech. We have a deep tech company right now that is already it's been in the program first in 2019. This is a deep tech company, deep tech AI company. It does causality AI. If you go to the website, to our blog, you will see a wonderful interview with Bharat Gaddam of Data Poem. So the name of the company is Data Poem. You will get a sense of what kind of deep tech company it is. Today, this year, it is finishing at $6 million in revenue. So, but it has waited. Only now I have introduced them to investors. They chose to bootstrap to real success. They have very big customers and $1 million, $1.5 million kind of deals. And the way we have worked with them is taught them what they needed to learn, and they've gone and implemented some of it, and then they came back and we are now this year I've introduced them to a lot of investors. They haven't closed yet, but they're talking to a lot of investors, but it's a profitable $6 million deep tech company already. So this is just examples of, what kind of stuff we do. What are you working on? If you're doing chips, for instance, deep tech is also chips. We don't do chips.
Yeah, so yes, I am. I'm building a hardware platform, hardware software platform. So yes, there is an element of chip design there.
Yeah, that's going to be hard to do within our framework because you're going to need money right away. And we work on a bootstrap first, raise money later principle. So that's probably not a good fit for you. All right. Any other question? Okay, folks, that's it then. I will see you next time and make lots of progress meanwhile. Bye-bye.